Right, I had a card through the letterbox saying this needed some charges paying from the post office. Hilarious, there was no import duty on it, just VAT, and for that they charged £3, which is fine, but the post office take £8 handling charge. I'd much rather that AliExpress gave us the option to pay the VAT on the website. That way it would have A, been delivered to the house, and B, I wouldn't have an £8 handling charge. Anyway, that's by the by. This is very small. This is much smaller than I thought. When I had saw pictures of it, I thought it was actually like a full-size unit, and it didn't even come with a power lead. It's DC operated, so luckily I've got adapters and things which we can connect up, so it's not so bad. But I mean, at this price, I shouldn't really moan too much, should I? So anyway, we'll get this set up and plugged into the radio, and then we'll set the detector up on the radio as per the manual and see what kind of results we get with it. I mean, as far as the audio receive side goes, really I'm going to have to do this. I haven't got a synad meter or anything where I can do this properly, so I can do it relatively on the oscilloscope, but mainly by ear. So at the moment that's the best I can do, and then if I do happen to find I do this a bit more often, if those prices come down a bit, then maybe I'll get a synad meter and do it properly. Luckily I've got a million old router and sort of wireless hub adapters lying around from days gone by, which happen to be exactly the right plug, so we're okay. We have a plug for that, and it has a on-off switch on the front here, and it shows you the voltage, and it comes up with the settings that it's on at the moment. So obviously at the moment it's set for a transmit frequency of 439 megs with no tone yet set at the minute, and 125 dB decibel signal. Now because the original manual here is that I've got for the radio is actually rated in microvolts, we'll print off a conversion chart so we can set this correctly for dBm versus microvolts. So we'll plug this into the radio and we'll have a little play. I mean, I haven't actually got a manual for this, so I'm going to have to sort of guess what I'm doing here, but I'm sure we can work it out. Right, keeping the camera on the tripod for the ease of use here. We've got the CB connected up. On these sets you need the microphone plugged in to get receive, that's one thing, but we'll keep the microphone out of the way so we don't key up by mistake. We've got the speaker connected here by just croc clips, and the speaker upside down there, and then we've got the SIG Gen set up, quite easy to drive actually, with the 2779125 or 7912 minus 125 decibel signal here at 1 kilohertz. So looking at our chart in terms of sensitivity, this radio should be capable of receiving that, so we'll just turn up the volume on the radio and see if we can pick it up. Okay, so you can hear it there in the background. So what we'll do first is we'll set it up as per the manual that I have here for the radio, and we'll see how far we can get with that. But like I say, a lot of this I'm going to have to do by ear, as I haven't got any kind of synad meter. Right, so as it stands, on this chart we have the dBm to microvolts here, minus 125 dB, beg your pardon, and according to the chart that is 0.12 of a microvolt. Now we can hear that fairly well under that noise. Now because I haven't got a synad meter, I don't want to go messing with the receive too much at the minute, because that to me seems pretty reasonable. I mean, anything that low, I would say anything that low is fairly good. We'll have a little fiddle around with we're dropping the signal further just to see how far low down we can take it. Right, we've got a minus 125, so we'll take it down. We're at minus 129, and we're still picking it up at 0.0795 of the microvolt. So to my ear, I'd say that doesn't need any adjustment. think we definitely consider it lost there at 0.0563 of a microvolt. So we'll come up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's pretty decent if this is calibrated and correct. So I don't think there's any need to adjust the receiver on this, but we will perhaps have a little look at tweaking it. Now for receiver alignment here, it tells us to set the SIGGEN for 0.5 of a microvolt, which is minus 112 dBm at 2779125, which is channel 20, which we've done, and then adjust T5, T6, T7, T8 and T9 for maximum audio output across the 8 ohms dummy load. I haven't got an 8 ohms dummy load. I wish I had, because this is going to be noisy. So we haven't got a sine nav meter, so we're going to adjust it for maximum audio output and see how we go with that. I mean, at the end of the day, if I cock this up, I'll have to get a sine nav meter anyway. So switching we've got the SIGGEN set there now. Okay, so switching on the volume, you can see our received audio. I'll turn that down again. You can see on the received audio there, we've got a good signal. Not much white noise on that. So I'm going to have a go at adjusting up that to see if I can get a maximum to get that to peak. But it's going to be quite loud, so I'm going to come back, and I'm not going to do this on the air because it's going to be too noisy. My camera's not syncing with the time base of the scope here, but I'm going to set it on this position here and try and get the maximum that we can out on a minus 112 dB. Right, got a bit of an improvement there. We've got it down to my ear. It was once I got past a certain point, it was easier to do it by ear anyway. So we got it down to about 0.07 of a microvolt according to this chart. Any less than that and it really starts to drop off. We've got the RF gain up at maximum on the radio, and if I increase the signal, and you're getting a nice, you can't see that because of the time base. Let's change the time base. There we go. And then if I increase the signal, you're getting a nice solid signal. And if I drop it down, you start to lose it there. You'd still be getting it minus 127 dB just, and then it starts to tail off. And as low as you can go on this meter is minus 132 dB, and I think you can safely say the signal is gone, and according to the chart that is 0.056 of a microvolt. So yeah, I think I'd have only made it worse if I'd have seriously gone in and played with that, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Right, the next test that we want to do is to set and adjust the squelch sensitivity. S9 on a CB is considered to be 100 microvolts, which when we look at this chart, which is minus 66 dB according to this chart. The biggest signal we can get from this is 70 microvolts. We need 100, so what we'll do for setting the S meter, because we want the S meter to read S9 at 100 microvolts, is just adjust the potentiometer for that so it's below 9 at roughly about 8, and then we know at 100 it's going to be pretty much there or thereabouts. It's not a scientific instrument, the CB radio, so at the moment, looking at the meter, we're over S9. It's hard to see because this is quite bright, this LED. The camera makes it a lot brighter than it is. Let's change positions. Right, you can see that it's well over S9 anyway, so that needs backing back down, so we'll adjust that down now, so it's roughly about 8, signal 8, which hopefully should mean we're there or thereabouts with 100 microvolts. According to the wiring diagram, the adjustment for the S meter is RV103, but it didn't seem to do anything. It appeared to be RV102 on this chassis, but I've seen videos that say that does vary from chassis to chassis. So I did adjust that. It's hiding behind there. Sorry, it's that one in there at the top. That's FM deviation. So I have to see if I can see what I've adjusted there, because I'm not sure. Right, so just set the squelch. We've turned the signal generator off, and then we're going to set this squelch level here to threshold. Hard to do upside down. Back it off a bit. And then we'll turn the signal generator back on, which should come on with the settings that it had on before. And it's coming in. Okay, so we'll turn the signal turn the squelch all the way up to full, and it's going off with an S9 signal. Right, so I've set the squelch for threshold, and the squelch is coming in at 0.2 of a microvolt according to this, which is minus 121 dB. It's coming in at 0.2, and it's coming in with the squelch on full with an S9 signal. So that squelch has got really good sensitivity, so I'm really pleased with that. It didn't actually need any adjustment whatsoever. That other potentiometer at the top, I really can't see what it's doing. I don't think it's doing anything. But I think that's it. I'm really pleased with this little signal generator, I have to say. It would be nice if it would give me a bit more signal there, but I can compensate for that with a little bit of knob twiddling anyway, so it's not too much of a problem. And really pleased that this Hameg oscilloscope is still working okay. I've just checked the pat testing sticker on this on the side, and it's it's from 1985 when it was last tested. So, but it's still working, and I do love the old proper CRT scopes. They're great. So that's a not really useful tool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Really pleased with that. I have done a bit of this setting up of the CBs, but it was a very long time ago, back in the sort of 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So it was a long time ago, when I was naught but a kid. And of course, back then it was always everyone wanted the CBs tuned for maximum power, and it's since when you grow a bit more sensible about things that you realise you don't necessarily need to do that. And it's more important that you get the CB set up correctly, use good coax, use a decent antenna, use a decent microphone, etc, etc. And that also applies to ham radio, of course, as well. CB is just a bit of a fun hobby for me, always has been, on and off. So mainly hand HTs, handy talkies, but I've got to be very careful because it's very addictive collecting these, and these are, as you've already seen on the first part of the video, these aren't cheap anymore these days. Right, so I've cleaned up some of the other parts. Let's throw this radio back together, put all the screws back in, and see what it looks like. Right, there it is, reassembled. Put the squelch up. We've plugged it into an external antenna. We get lots of local noise around here off the external antenna. So it'll be interesting to see how this fares out in the car. Right, Tyler, are you out there?
I could hear the soft step, but not the end of it.
I could hear the soft step, but not the end of it.
Okay, I'll try again. How's that then, Tyler? Can you hear me okay?
I'll try again. How's that then, Tyler? Can you hear me okay?
Just about.
You're a really good singer with me. And I know I'm putting out plenty of girls in this radio, so definitely something
Yeah, you're a really good signal with me. And I know I'm putting out plenty of power with this radio, so there's definitely something amiss back home with regards to local interference, or something locally very strong is making the aerial not very sensitive for receive. But you're coming out to me lovely, so I'm pretty sure the antenna is working okay. I don't think there's a lot of point with us doing a test between here and the next location, but certainly if you wanted to go back to your playing on your computer, and then I'll speak to you in about 5 minutes. Is that okay?
Did you say just go on my computer?
Yeah, if you go back on your computer, and then I'll give you a call on the other radio so you can come and help me again in about 5 minutes. Is that alright?
Okay, so I stop the recording as well?
Yeah, stop the recording now, and then we'll start the recording again a little bit later.
When I come back, I'll start the recording.
Yeah, if you can, yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Speak to you in a bit. Right, if we've got enough, but we've only just got enough battery to get back to base. Hopefully we'll be okay. So we're gonna go to location B and see how we get on. I'm not sure how well it's going to do, like I say, because of the local noise problem. But let's go there and find out. And if the weather's not too rainy, I'll put the T800 on as well, and we'll do a test between the T800 and the Midland, and we'll do a field strength test as well. But it just depends on what this weather is doing. So let's go to location B, which is as we know 6 or 7 miles away. Right, we come out to location B, 7 miles away. Not so sure how well this is going to work. I mean, crazy really when you think about we can get in with just a couple of watts on UHF there, and we're struggling with 27 megs. So anyway, let's give this a go. Let's get the CB set up, and then if it stops raining, we'll do a field strength test. Right, we're about 7 miles away.
It's recording now.
Okay, thanks. Right, we're about 7 miles away, and I'm using the Quansheng 10 watts, super powerful, and I've got my radio set up at home just on monitor on 433. So I can hear Tyler nice and clear, but he can't hear me from here, and I know I'm putting out more than enough power. So it does show you, doesn't it, that the you know, it must just be the local QRM. I can't think of any other reason why, because he's coming in nice and clear. Let's just ask him. We're going to talk to him via this, so we're kind of cross-link. Right, hi there, Tyler. Do you want to give me the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog on the CB, please?
Did you say the quick brown fox?
Yeah, can you give me that on the CB, please?
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
All right, superb. Thanks for that, Tyler. Yeah. So I think that probably concludes the test. I think the problem we've got here is the Midland's fine. It's putting out more than enough power. It's doing really, really well. But it's just receive at the base we've got to work on and get something better sorted out. I am going to try the other radio, Tyler. Can you hang on for 5 seconds just so we can test the other radio? You hold on for 5 minutes, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, this is G7LNK. Just standing by. Right, we're going to plug in the T800 and try that. Right, so we've got the T800 down there. Right, so now we're using the Midland, and Tyler's got the Squelch off, so we'll see how this works now. If it's going to work at all. Right, Tyler, can you hear me now? Go ahead. Can you hear me now, Tyler? I've swapped the radios over to the Midland 3001. Can you hear me? No, he's not getting me, is he? So clearly there's a problem. I'll speak to him on the Quansheng, which is 10 watts. Right, Tyler, can you hear me? I'm on the other radio now. Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, mate, you can go off and do your own thing now. I'm finished now. Thanks for your help, and we'll speak to you when we get home, okay?
Okay, Daddy. Bye. I'll stop recording now as well.
Yeah, if you could stop the recording, that'd be great. Thanks, Tyler. We'll see you later. Right, we're going to do field strength now. There's the stereo. There. And there's a field strength meter at a fixed distance. So this is the stereo. Just over about 25. Okay, and we'll swap and see what field strength the T800 is giving us. We're on the T800 now. and we'll see what that's doing. Right, so the T800 is less, you see, under 20, so the field strength from the Midland is more. So we know the problem. Isn't the Midland hasn't got enough oomph, because on the meter it is 4 watts. So I'm pretty happy that the Midland is all fully tuned up and working just fine. So yeah, on to the next one then. I am going to put an external antenna up back at base. I think I'll get a silver rod up there. That'll please the neighbours. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Receive on that Midland, cracking, absolutely brilliant. Really sensitive bit of kit, lovely. And to be fair, the T800's really good on receive as well. So right, with that, I'm going to go. Keep an eye on the next video. I've got a Rotel RVC 220, which was the first CB I bought, coming up, and I've got a few more. I'm going to take this off the roof. I've got a few more rigs from China coming over as well. So keep an eye on the channel. I'll be back with some more content. I'm trying to do something every week, so we'll see you soon, okay? Take care.